I'm joined today by Andrew. Hello.
Hiya, you all right?
I'm not too bad. I've got a coffee. Life is looking a little bit less tired now.
Yeah, yeah,
So we were put in touch with you because Green Pastures have been involved in your life in some way. And really,
yeah,
the whole point of this interview is just to find out, well, your story and their story and how that
yeah,
comes together. So just
yeah.
give us a little bit of history about yourself. How did you come across Green Pastures?
It was back in July 2016, June 2016, sorry, when I went into an organisation called Lighthouse Homes, which is operated a bit very similar to how we do here. It's a dry house, zero tolerance for drugs and alcohol, and I had a very substantial 23-year drug addiction that I was trying to recover from, and that I needed a chance to recover and change my life. And Darren Jones, who was heading that organisation's projects up at the time, got in touch with me while I was still in Kingsmill Hospital in Mansfield, and offered me a chance to change my life with a bed space at Lighthouse Homes in Shirebrook. And that's how my journey started as a resident back in 2016. And throughout the months that I was there, that it became apparent that Green Pastures was the partner organisation to Lighthouse Homes. So that's when I first heard about Green Pastures. And as I got moved along in my journey, that's when I was raised up to a volunteer and intern, and then I got a full time position as a support worker with Lighthouse Homes, and that's when I got more involved and more knowledge about Green Pastures and what they did uh, for the homeless and throughout the UK. That,
So going back a little bit, yeah. So 2016, you went
yeah,
into what, a sort of rehabilitation.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to think of the wording that people might think of, but is it like a rehabilitation unit? Is it sort of a
It,
center?
it's well, they're not rehabilitation. We operate very similar to a rehabilitation unit, but we are predominantly we're not, because we can't stop uh, residents coming in and out of the building on a daily basis like a rehab can.
Yeah.
I suppose if you come to a place like this, you've got to want change. You've got to want to have had enough of what you've been doing in your past life, and that's really the position I was in.
So just help us understand something of that then.
Yeah,
So you talk about how with Lighthouse Homes they helped you to get over that drug addiction.
yeah,
What is it they actually do? I mean, we'll get to Green Pasture as well, but
yeah.
what is it that actually happened that helped you to
So
come off drugs?
so on the very first day that I went in there, obviously I'd had a brief conversation over the phone with Darren Jones, and what he was doing, he was telling me about the Christian aspect of the project and how it works, and it being operated by other like-minded Christians like Darren to promote change and restoration in people's lives. And if I'm honest, when all that was mentioned, I thought to myself a little bit, well, if God's real, how come I've been through 23 years of what I'd just been through? And it quickly became apparent as very second I walked through the door, there was something so different about that place. It was like all the staff were saying to me, "Oh, you do know you're here for a reason. There's a reason why you've been brought here." And I didn't get it straight away. Not in the first few hours, I didn't. Uh, but with it being Christ centered of everything that was done in the project, it just had a different feel about the place. That this could be the time for me to change.
Hmm.
Uh, the chance that I've been looking for years, and that's what the difference was. That and like I say, all the staff started investing the time in me straight away from the minute I walked in the door, which was very strange to me because that was something I'd never had before, and that I'd probably been looking for years, and by chance I'd found it. Yeah,
Wow. So it's that experience then is giving you that chance that you just said that
Yeah,
you'd longed for, that you
yeah,
found, that kind of Christ-centered environment of
yeah,
investing into you. And then I'm guessing it's going to take a little bit of time, but then
yeah,
the drugs become less and less a part of your identity.
yeah. It did. It's virtually straight away.
Okay.
Uh, uh, I had the very first day, the very first night, I had such a radical encounter. So it was the 26th of June 2016 when the day I walked in there. Like I say, I'd been in hospital in Kingsmill for about 4 weeks because I'd been stabbed, and I'd recovered and gone through a lengthy process to get me discharged. And as I was speaking to one of the staff members who was doing my intake paperwork, he he just started telling me about how how if I was willing to surrender everything and do it this way, that this could be the time that you could do things differently. And you know, I was still of that mindset at the time that of an unbeliever, as to say that if God were real, why have I been put through this? But that throughout the afternoon and the evening, as he invested so much time in me, and to the point where he said, "Look, tonight it's our in our service. Do you want to come?" And then he said, "Look, you're not doing no tell, nothing else, so you may as well just come and have a look, see what it's all about." And I said, "Yeah, fine, fair enough." Uh, so I attended, and through while he preached that the message that he preached, it was all about God going after the broken and the disenfranchised from society, and him wanting that person. I'll have you, the worst of the worst sort of thing. Uh, and he came up to me at the end of it and he says, "Can I pray for you?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, absolutely you can." And he asked me what for, and I said, "Temptation," because if there's anything that will stop me doing this, it'll be that. Because with me being from Mansfield, I was only right on the doorstep still, and I knew so many people in Shirebrook where the project was, that it would have probably have only taken one person to say to me, "Andy, do you want to do this?" And boom, I'd have probably been gone. And I said, "Yeah, you can pray for temptation, because that'll be the thing that will probably ultimately take me out of this opportunity that I've been given." Uh, so we prayed for it to be temptation to be taken away, and that's when I started to feel inside something that I'd never ever felt, and that I can't describe. I really can't. The feeling that I had inside. Uh, and when he finished praying, I says, "Is that it, John? Am I fixed now?" And he said straight away, "Andy, it don't work like that. You've got to start put some work into this now." And uh, then another support worker came across and were praying for me. And John just looked me straight in the eye and he said, "Andy, can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yeah, of course you can." He says, "Do you want to give your life to Jesus?" And at that moment, everything just felt so right.
Wow.
After and I said, and I just looked at him and I just went, "Yeah, yeah, please." So I did, and again that feeling came over me. Uh, Obviously, I know what it is now, but at the time, it was just such I can't even explain how I felt. I can't. Uh, so I did, and really that's where my journey of faith began as well. Uh, was I fixed overnight? Absolutely not. No, but I just surrendered everything to what the to the opportunity that I'd been given, because I knew that I'd probably only got this one chance for it to work, and it was time for me. Andy's way, I'd proved that for 23 years didn't work. But do you know, this way, it probably could, and it probably would. So I took the chance and did it. You know, was it an easy transformation to start with? Absolutely not. I was very ill, very poorly still for a while. But I knew at that point straight away that I wasn't walking that narrow path on my own anymore. I felt a sense of that I've got somebody pushing me along, watching out for me. If you understand what I mean, it was a very different situation that I'd got myself into. but a very peaceful one. And that I just, like I say, I just embraced everything that the staff and the project could do for me.
Just coming back to that thing of peace. I mean, I do know what you're talking about. It
Yeah,
is beyond words. When you have an
yeah,
encounter of God,
yeah,
it is beyond words
yeah,
because He's beyond good.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. So just something that I mean, it's might to a lot of people it might be nothing, but to me it was massive. So for I don't know how many years I'd not slept at night through the addiction issues that I'd got and everything. But that night I went to bed at about 9:30, and I slept for 12 hours solid. And the day staff had to wake me up the following morning, and that was unthought of for me to do that. And it just come on me straight away. Yeah.
Wow.
That, and Darren said that the day after. He said, "You know what, Andy?" He says, "You need to rest," and it had already started. So, yeah,
One of the Psalms talks about coming to God and Him being our place of rest, our place of
yeah,
refuge, our place
yeah,
of shelter. I was going to
yeah,
ask you what you meant by peace, but that's you just perfectly done exactly what I was
yeah,
wondering about.
yeah,
You have 23 years of difficulty, I guess,
yeah,
very complicated, confused life. You
yeah,
find an encounter with Jesus Christ, and then
yeah,
you have peace and you sleep.
yeah, yeah. Within a matter of I don't know 6 hours, that came on me. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's so awesome.
yeah,
Right, let's move on a little bit
yeah,
in time. So you've been through that period of meeting Jesus Christ. You've found peace and sleep, which is cool.
yeah,
I can identify with that part. You I guess eventually that the drug dependency is going to change and shift and be nothing.
yeah.
And then how did you go from that point of view? I know you
So,
said you got a job at Green Pastures, but
yeah.
what happened there?
So prior to me being given an internship by Darren, I just embraced everything the project could do for me. The Bible studies, the classes that they run, the pastoral support, the volunteering. I went straight away within 2 weeks volunteering at the local church that I went to, working in a food bank. I just surrounded myself with like-minded people, good Christian people, and everybody that I met wanted me around them to invest their time in them. Even at the food bank, I met the bunch of ladies that I was volunteering with that ran the food bank at the church. They were just brilliant with me. They just wanted to talk to me, and it just got everything out that I needed to get out. And the way that it came out was just easy. I've sat down with counsellors in the past and spoke to them, and I find it very difficult. But this time it just flowed out of me, and it just released me from so much of my past that yeah, and it gave me that new perspective that I could work towards getting myself right. It was it took about 8 months for me to get myself into a position where I could do something or make a decision about my future, what I could do then. But obviously, the way that I carried myself and put myself into everything in the project, Darren and the management team had seen that, and they offered me a position of an intern, a trainee member of staff.
So is that what you're doing today? Then you're actually working with who guys and girls who are coming in.
Yeah, so currently I'm the senior support worker at Green Pastures Derby. So I've got my position involves me going out into prisons, probation, the local mental health facility, drug services. I go all over interviewing potential referrals that I get for people that want to make the change like I have. So I'm in a position where I can give them now that opportunity that I had all years ago.
And I guess part of this is you said, okay, God, if you're real, where were you for the last 23 years?
Yeah,
But you are now being that change,
yeah.
possibility change in other people's
Other
lives. So
life, yeah.
it hasn't been ruined, wasted, or
No,
lost.
no.
Now God is able to redeem that and use that for other people.
Yeah, yeah. That I do that. I do that on a daily basis, weekly basis, all the time. Yeah,
You've got to
yeah.
love your job.
Yeah, I do. I do. It's the best job ever. Honestly, it is. It's like being able to offer that chance that I was offered by Darren to somebody else. to change life. Honestly, we're not that. We know it doesn't work for everybody, but for most people, it does. Yeah, because when I sit down with them, and you can see that they're so uncomfortable about what they want to, and they just say, you make it so easy to talk to. And probably one of the first things I say to people is, when you can see that they're feeling uncomfortable, and they'll say to me, well, how do you know what it's like? And I can sit there and say, well, let me tell you that I've been sat where you are many times. So I get it. I understand what you're going through, but I'm not here to judge you or discriminate against you. I'm here to help you. And
because
if I
you've been
can,
through
I
it.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So 23 years of drug addiction.
Yeah.
You went to Lighthouse Homes, and
Yeah.
Darren really helped you, gave you an
Yeah.
opportunity. I mean, he basically gave you his hand and said, "Can I help?"
Yeah. He did. Yeah.
But you were
Yeah.
ready for that.
Yeah. I'd probably at this point, my probation officer always used to say to me, she always used to say that people are normally at rock bottom before they want to change it. She said, but what scared me with you is your rock bottom was below rock bottom. She said, I didn't know how far you'd go. And before, and it was just that chance conversation where Darren rang me when I was getting ready for discharge and in the hospital, that I got that chance. Yeah.
I'm making notes as we're talking, but there's a
Yeah.
few things that really strike me. One was when Darren said, "Can I pray for you? What can I pray for?" And you said
Yeah.
temptation,
Yeah.
because if you can pray for that bit, if
Yeah.
that temptation is removed,
Moved.
I've
Yeah.
got a chance.
I've got, and yeah, and I knew that. I knew that in my mind that would be the thing that would stop everything, because it only had to take a chance encounter with somebody, and I'd be gone, and I knew I'd be gone. So yeah.
Let me ask you a question at risk of
Yeah.
what I'm going to ask you here. But when you went to the food bank and you were helping with them, and you said there's this
Yeah.
group of ladies there, what was their average age? I'm just curious.
I would say so. Elaine, who ran the food bank, I would say she was already retired from work, so I'd say she was about 60, mid early mid 60s. Yeah,
Okay.
and all the ladies were the same age, and
I,
why ever they just, I don't know, they just grabbed hold of me and wanted to help. Yeah, all
I,
of them did.
I'll tell you why I asked that question. I didn't want to say it because I thought
Yeah,
I guarantee how old these ladies are. And what strikes me is in a lot of churches, there's a lot of focus on the young and whatever.
yeah,
And we almost think, oh well, as people get older, I don't believe that's old, by
yeah,
the way. I'm nearly 50. But it's not old, but there's this, well, you're sort of past being useful now.
yeah,
Here's the thing, though, that group of women, they weren't the beginning of the transformation of you.
yeah,
They were really fundamental to the ongoing process
yeah,
of you
yeah,
being transformed in Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, it was, yeah, and they just yeah, I don't know, they weren't trained counselors, they were just normal women, and and they just wanted to know all about me and talk to me, and I was there all day, Friday, every Friday, all day, and at first I thought, when I first went, I was only 2 weeks into my journey, and I was I was still a bit poorly, and did I want to go? If I'm honest, no, I didn't. But I went, and it's best. It was one of the best things I did. I just because Elaine was the pastor's, the junior pastor's mum, so her knowledge of everything and the pastoral heart she had, it was just it was, yeah. It was amazing, amazing time that I had, and and I used to look forward to going, and I probably used to go more than I should. I used to go about, as I started, I used to go probably 2 or 3 days a week, helping out around church. So that's probably one of the fundamental things that I did start with. Like I said, I just surrounded myself with like-minded people instead of surrounding myself and wanting to be like the wrong influences in my life, as I'd done for the last 23 years. I'd switched it, and I wanted to be around people like that.
I also think, as I'm looking at what you've said, you've gone from a place of being dependent on drugs. That's been your biggest struggle.
Yeah,
But then you started working for the food bank,
yeah,
and all of a sudden your mindset's gone from not so much what do I need to get through to today or this morning
yeah.
to how can I help somebody else? How
Well,
did that?
yeah.
How much has that transformed your own kind of journey of coming out of drug addiction to now supporting people who are in
Yeah,
that same place.
it's made a massive change in me. I've just got such a heart now for going out into the places in and around Derby where people don't want to go. You know, support services, if I'm honest, around in Derby don't want to go at times, and there's so many people out there that need people like us and me to go out and pick them up. You know,
Hmm.
you don't, if like Darren always says, if one of your if one of your how can I put it, if you see somebody that's fell over that's on the floor, don't walk past them, pick them up.
Hmm.
Help pick them up, and that's what we do. That's what we do on a daily basis with our guys. If they're struggling, we pick them up, we lift them up. I know that a lot of our service users haven't made a commitment, and you know, there's every likelihood they probably never will, but they're going to hear something. That's our wish and hope when they hear that they will hear something of God, and we can pick them up, yeah, and rebuild them and restore them into the people that they should be. Yeah, you know, I had that put into me, so I'm in a position now where I can feed that back into all these guys and guys out in the community that are struggling.
I say this a lot, and it's just as true for you as it is
Yeah.
every time I said this, but I absolutely believe that every single one of us is not just made with purpose, but is made on purpose.
Purpose, yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's what I think, Darren has done for you is
Yeah,
he's given you a glimpse at you actually have a purpose. You are
yeah,
fearfully and wonderfully made, the Bible
yeah.
says, but you're then able to reinvest that into others because one person said to you, can I help you?
Can I help you? Can I give you? When I'll never forget the first conversation I had with him. He asked me, and he told me all about the project, and he says, "What do you need?" And I said to him straight away, Darren, and I want to change, but I need a chance to change, and that's something that I'd never been given. And that's when he said straight away, "Well, I'm going to give you a chance," and he did.
Is
Yeah.
temptation, is that always going to be, do you think, the greatest challenge, most likely, for the guys that you're meeting as they're coming out?
Yeah, absolutely. It always is. It's that temptation. It's it's not the fact that they can be abstinent from drugs, because we find that they can, and we know, or alcohol or anything, whatever the addiction is, they can. It can be anything. It can be that just they go out the front door and they just bump into that wrong person at the wrong time, and that can be the thing that alters what they're going to do. You know, for the relapse. So it's a massive thing. Temptation is, and I've found myself over the years when I do speak at churches and to our lads when we have our in our services, talking to them about temptation, and yeah,
And
yeah,
you're living proof that you can overcome.
yeah, absolutely. So there's not only me here at Green Pastures in Derby that's got an addiction background. We've got a few support workers that are the same as me. Uh, yeah, so we get it. We get why things happen, and we're not trained counsellors in any way, but we get it. So we've got so much of a life experience that we get the situation that we're in,
Mm.
that they're in, and what they're experiencing, and how we can best help them.
Yeah.
And we've tapped into so many services in Derby since we've been here, all the rehabilitation services, that yeah, help is out there, and we know where to find it for them, for whatever addiction that they're suffering from.
Andrew, thank you for sharing some of your journey. I
Yeah,
can appreciate that some of the early stuff. It's
yeah,
for every one of us. We don't want to remember some of the early days,
yeah.
but some of the early stuff is what defines us into who we
It's
are
absolutely,
and
yeah,
what we can do for God.
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
And that's what I see in you.
yeah,
I'm sitting here crying as you're talking
yeah,
because I'm hearing, I'm literally seeing hope
yeah,
in front of me,
yeah,
and that's tangible and it's quantifiable,
yeah,
and it's so exciting that you've been given hope, and now you
yeah.
can pass that hope on to others,
Others, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that hope has a name.
No, yeah, absolutely. Nothing pleasures us more than when we pick somebody up at the worst part in their life, and we see them go through our project, and then they get reunited with the families, and they get reintegrated with the families, and they move back home and stuff. It's just, yeah,
I interviewed Al McComb who's one of the Green Pastures
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
last year, September, October time.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting to hear about some of the ideas of what Green Pastures can do to help others. That
Yeah.
was kind of what we were looking at. What's
Yeah.
the point of Green Pastures?
Yeah.
What's encouraging me today is talking to you.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a theory of an organization. I mean, it's more
Yeah.
than that with Al, but
Yeah.
he's telling us what it is that they can do to help.
Yeah.
But here we have living proof of people who want to invest into Green Pastures.
Yeah.
You are living proof of what can be done, because it's not just changed your life.
It's
You're now changing others.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
It's that ripple effect in the pond, isn't it? You chuck it in and it grows, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. If you want to find out more about Green Pastures, you can go to their website, greenpastures.co.uk, greenpastures.co.uk, and find out more. But Andrew from Green Pastures in Derby, thank you so much for your time. I really pray you have a great rest of your day, and
you.
keep on keeping on, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Rated 5 stars by Sorted Magazine's film critic, Pure 247 takes you behind the scenes of the birth of a global Christian radio station. Andy B will have you laughing and crying as you discover what it takes to create ministry that matters in this inspiring tale of perseverance, honesty, and vulnerability. Buckle up and get ready for a story that's uplifting as it is entertaining. Behind the microphone, they face bankruptcy, eviction, and 2 life-changing surgeries. Can they make it? Will they make it? Get your copy of this life-changing book today. Pure 247 is available now on Amazon. Andy B is best described as a man after God's own heart, who insists that God's vision and resourcing trump all handicaps.